There's something deeply satisfying about watching raw steel transform into the very bones of a building. The rebar and straight bars that hold our bridges, skyscrapers, and highways together. And if you want to see that process done at the highest level, you need to look at the Verona Steel Mill, one of Italy's premier long product steel facilities, and a benchmark for modern reinforcing bar production worldwide. The journey begins at the electric arc furnace, the EAF, where steel scrap is melted down at temperatures exceeding 1,600 degrees Celsius. This isn't your grandfather's open hearth furnace. Today's EAF uses ultra-high power transformers and computer-controlled electrode systems to melt a full charge of scrap in as little as 40 minutes. The result is liquid steel so refined you could almost call it elegant. From there, the molten metal moves to the ladle furnace for secondary metallurgy, where precise alloy additions are made to hit the exact carbon, manganese, and silicon specs demanded by construction-grade rebar standards like ASTM A615 or European B500B. Temperature, chemistry, and timing are everything here. Next comes continuous casting. The liquid steel is poured into water-cooled copper molds, moving at carefully controlled speeds, forming long billets, typically 130 millimeters by 130 millimeters square. These billets exit the caster already partially solid on the outside, still red hot and glowing on the inside. They're cut to length and sent directly to the rolling mill, still holding enough heat to skip the reheating furnace, which saves enormous energy. In the rolling mill, the billets pass through a series of rolling stands, each one squeezing and elongating the steel bar progressively smaller and longer. A modern high-speed rod and bar mill like Verona's can roll rebar at speeds exceeding 100 meters per second for smaller diameters. That's faster than a Formula One car on a straightaway. The entire rolling sequence from billet to finished bar takes just minutes. For coiled rebar, what the industry calls wire rod coils, the bars are looped onto a spinning laying head and coiled into neat rings. For straight bar production, precision cut-to-length shears snip the bars at exact measurements, typically 6, 9, or 12 meters, before they're bundled, tagged, and stacked by automatic handling systems. What makes Verona special is its integrated quality control system. Every heat of steel is tracked from furnace charge to finished product. Automated ultrasonic testing, dimensional laser gauges, and surface inspection cameras monitor the product in real time. No bar leaves the mill without meeting spec because when steel goes into a concrete structure, there's no room for error.
If you've ever looked at a propane tank, a pressure vessel, or the end cap of a large industrial boiler, you've seen the result of a process called dished end forming, even if you didn't know it at the time. And nobody in the world does it quite like Facens PA, an Italian company with over 50 years of engineering excellence tucked under its belt. Facens dishing press, sometimes called a flanging and dishing machine, is an absolute beast of precision engineering. We're talking about hydraulic presses capable of exerting forces between 200 and 4,000 metric tons. The machine consists of a heavy steel frame, a central punch die, and a ring die at the periphery. Together, they press a flat metal blank, which could be anywhere from a quarter inch to several inches thick, into a perfectly curved hemispherical or elliptical dome shape. Here's how it works. A flat, circular plate, often cut from high-strength carbon steel, stainless steel, or even titanium, is placed over the ring die. The press slowly descends. As the central punch makes contact and drives the metal downward, the material flows outward and inward simultaneously, taking on a concave dome shape. The flanging process then bends the outer edge of the plate upward, creating the mounting lip you see on real-world pressure vessels. What makes Facens machines special is their integrated CNC control system. Operators can program the exact stroke depth, forming speed, and pressure profile for any given material thickness and alloy. Sensors monitor springback in real time and automatically compensate, ensuring every dome comes out within tight dimensional tolerances. No guesswork, no rework.
If there's one machine that represents the raw, unapologetic power of heavy manufacturing, it's the forging press. And when it comes to high-performance screw and eccentric press forging, the name Yumuko has been synonymous with precision and reliability for generations of machinists and metallurgists. Yumuko, short for Yumuko Aktiengesellschaft für Maschinenbau, was a German machine tool manufacturer founded in Leverkusen that became famous throughout the 20th century for its mechanical forging presses. The company's eccentric screw presses became the gold standard in hot and warm forging across the automotive, aerospace, and heavy equipment industries. Today, their legacy lives on in the many Yumuko-style presses still operating in plants across Europe, Asia, and North America. So how does a forging press like this actually work? At its heart, the Yumuko screw press uses a large flywheel driven by an electric motor, spinning constantly and storing enormous rotational energy. When the operator initiates a stroke, a friction clutch engages the flywheel to a threaded screw spindle. That stored energy is converted into a single powerful downward blow of the ram, the heavy steel block that strikes the die and deforms the hot metal workpiece below. The beauty of the screw press design is its energy-controlled stroke. Unlike a mechanical crank press, which delivers a fixed stroke regardless, the screw press delivers a blow proportional to the energy released from the flywheel. This means the operator can control blow intensity, making it ideal for near-net-shape forging, where dimensional accuracy is critical. The dies themselves are masterpieces of tool engineering. Machined from H13 hot-work tool steel and heat-treated to precise hardness levels, top and bottom dies are mounted to the ram and bolster with precision-aligned T-slots and hydraulic clamping. A correctly set die pair can produce tens of thousands of parts before requiring redress. In a typical forging cycle, a billet preheated in an induction furnace to between 1,100 and 1,250 degrees Celsius is placed in the bottom die. The operator triggers the stroke. In a fraction of a second, the ram descends with forces ranging from 1,600 to over 10,000 metric tons, depending on press size, and the metal flows and fills the die cavity with a satisfying thunderous crash. Flash, excess metal squeezed out at the parting line, is trimmed in a follow-on operation. This is the Merewind offshore wind project, and the company making it all possible is Seajacks UK Limited, one of the world's leading marine contractors for offshore renewable energy installation. Seajacks operates a fleet of self-elevating jack-up vessels. These are ships equipped with long steel legs that can be lowered to the seabed, lifting the vessel hull clear out of the water to create a stable working platform unaffected by waves. For Merewind, Seajacks deployed vessels like the Zaratan and Leviathan, purpose-built offshore installation ships with dynamic positioning systems and cranes rated to hundreds of tons. The installation sequence begins with the monopile foundations, massive steel tubes 5 to 6 meters in diameter and weighing up to 700 tons. These are lifted by crane, positioned vertically over the seabed, and driven into the seafloor by a hydraulic impact hammer, a process called pile driving. The hammer delivers controlled blows at frequencies specifically tuned to minimize impact on marine wildlife. Once the monopile is set and grouted, a transition piece is installed on top, a steel connector section that sets the exact elevation and orientation for the turbine tower above the waterline. Then come the tower sections, the nacelle housing the generator and gearbox, and finally the massive rotor blades, each one over 58 meters long, lifted and bolted into place one by one. Every lift is a precision ballet between crane operator, banksman, and marine coordinators working in live sea conditions. What makes offshore wind installation so remarkable is the sheer logistical precision involved. Weather windows, vessel scheduling, component staging at port, subsea surveys, and turbine commissioning must all align perfectly. Seajacks brings decades of offshore expertise. Originally born from the oil and gas industry, to make this integration look almost effortless. Almost. Tanks are the unsung workhorses of modern industrial civilization. And fabricating one, especially a large pressure vessel or storage tank, is one of the most demanding disciplines in all of heavy manufacturing. The process begins long before any steel is cut. Engineers work through extensive design calculations governed by standards like the ASME Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code, the BPVC, or API 650 for atmospheric storage tanks. Once the design is approved and the material certified, typically carbon steel plate like SA5116 grade 70, or stainless grades like 304L and 316L for corrosive surfaces, the fabrication begins in earnest. The first major operation is plate preparation. Plates are cleaned, marked by layout technicians using precision templates, and cut to shape using either plasma arc or oxyfuel CNC cutting tables. Edges that will be welded receive bevels, angled cuts that create a V-groove or J-groove joint geometry to ensure full weld penetration through the material thickness. For cylindrical tanks and vessels, the plate sections are rolled in a plate rolling machine, a 3 or 4 roller machine that progressively bends the flat plate into a curved shell course. Experienced operators know how the steel springs back after each pass and compensate accordingly. Shell courses are then fit up, assembled in sequence, and tack welded before final welding. Welders must be qualified to specific procedures under ASME Section 9, and each weld procedure is qualified by running test coupons that are mechanically tested, bend tests, tensile tests, impact tests. Only then can production welding begin. Submerged arc welding, SAW, is the workhorse process for thick seam welds on large tanks. A continuously fed wire electrode is buried under a layer of granular flux, creating an arc invisible to the eye but producing deep, high-quality welds at high deposition rates. For nozzles, manways, and complex geometry, shielded metal arc stick welding or GMOW may be used instead. After welding, every seam is inspected. Radiographic testing, X-ray or gamma ray, reveals internal defects invisible to the eye. Ultrasonic testing maps wall thickness and detects planar defects. For smaller fittings, magnetic particle or liquid penetrant testing checks surface integrity. Finally, the completed vessel is hydrotested, filled with water and pressurized to 1.3 times the design pressure, and every weld is checked for leaks. Only after passing all these steps does the tank earn its nameplate and leave the shop.